HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The All-American, a novel, by Milan Jr., read by Jason Vu. 어이없다. Romanization, 어이없다. Pronunciation, 어이없다. Definition, stupefied, dumbfounded, to be subject to absurdity and confusion. From the phrase, 업초권이 없다, which relates to the situation of trying to mill rice between millstones without a handle. Part 1, 2000. Tipiket. Chapter 0. I am a running back. Every morning I run tied to a tire. It barks and growls behind me on the trail, all the way through the woods and up and down the ravine. But this morning, just as we get to the bottom, the tire catches something and yanks so hard the rope snaps and launches me into the stream. The water is cold and my shirt is drenched, and it takes me a moment to get up and slap the goosebumps. I gotta stay positive. Cold boosts testosterone, clears lactic acid, jumpstarts fast-twitch muscle production. This is what Coach Shaw says those mornings before school starts, and we're shivering in the weight room next to the broken heater, wondering how there could be a zero period. My body is cold, but my thumb is warm. Blood. Apply pressure, breathe, sit on a mossy log. Think first aid. Don't be afraid of your blood, like the school counselor said. It is what you are. What I am is a high school running back. Tomorrow, I have my chance to get off Tipiket to be a college running back. Uncle Rick couldn't do that. He made this harness and trains me so that I can. And now, my ball-cradling hand is bleeding, getting infected, and I'm blinking and breathing through my nose and out of my mouth, trying to keep calm, trying not to think of tweakers, looking for a place to smoke some ice, finding my blood-drained body. I look at the hand. Don't be a pansy, Bucky. It's hardly bleeding, not even a helmet button's worth. I strip off what's left of the harness and my drenched shirt and wrap my hand. A squirrel barks up in a tree. I know it shits in this stream. Rehearse in your dumb heads, Coach Shaw says. You actualize what you visualize, so rehearse like a champion and execute. The key to mental rehearsal is to imagine a perfect world without anything else. I breathe, close my eyes, forget the moss, the trees, the gray skies. Don't think how my tire must have caught a knuckle of cedar root or an old brake caliper. Visualize astroturf, hash marks, hurdling big uglies, bombing down sidelines, running to the end zone, and dancing at the foot of the stars and stripes. Blood is nothing, but I don't get to the end zone. Refs whistle, kill my play. I'm all alone on the field, stranded by a bad call in my own mental rehearsal. On the 50-yard line is a ref who's not a ref, but a grinning Asian dude in a gray members-only jacket and bomber sunglasses. My eyes open as fast as they can. Grinning Asian dude? I run, hustle, flee, leave the tire down by the stream. Chapter 1. That sunny meadow, there's no sun and no meadow, just a mobile home park buried in the ass of Lion Mountain. We have a view of the 24/7 gas station beside the state route. Cheryl, on the porch, paces and talks on the phone. Cheryl is my mom. I call her Cheryl because she's not my real mother. Just like Uncle Rick isn't really my uncle, and Bobby isn't really my brother. Strangers wouldn't mistake me for the rest of the family. They're all white. I'm the only Asian for miles. So, I call her Cheryl like how she calls me Bucky, even though that isn't my real name. It's the only name that sounds right. She paces on the porch with a cordless because she says the house is too stuffy and dark. The laminate wood walls are dark, and ours stink. The cat's pissed everywhere. We used to have screens on the windows, but the cat slashed them. A cat would spray a pair of shoes or a basketball, and Bobby or me would grab the cat and toss it out the window. Sometimes we forget to check if the screen was in, and the cat would cling onto it, clawing and hissing. Now we mostly keep the windows closed to keep the gnats out, and Cheryl goes to the porch to call Graham, a 6'6" soft-hand guy who wears button-down shirts and is always checking his cell phone as if to remind us that he has one and the rest of us don't. Cheryl and Graham are engaged. They're going to move in together in Tacoma, where Graham's got a job as a lawyer and an apartment in a tall building of blue glass and marble, and 2 little girls that adore Cheryl. Here, Cheryl's only got me and Bobby. I'm 17, and Bobby is 18 with a GED, and both of us are trying to get far away from Sunny Meadow and the single-wide with cat-pissed laminate walls. But when Cheryl sees me coming from the trails, she isn't wearing that smile that says she's talking about a future in the city. She looks pale. First, I think it's because I'm cradling my hand and got no shirt on, but she hollers, "Get in the car!" Back into the phone, she says, "We'll be there in a minute. Just keep talking to him, Jerry." Then she tosses the cordless onto the lazy boy that Bobby and me found on the state route. "We gotta go right now." She's pointing at the old Geo missing the passenger's side view mirror. She points at the car whenever we have to rescue a cat. "I cut my hand," I say. "Get in the car, there's no time." "Cheryl, I cut my hand," I say. Cheryl looks at my t-shirt wrapped hand. Her mouth opens. Her eyebrows pinched together as if I had just told her I shot the neighbor, and here I am half naked with blood on my hands. "I fell," I say. "Into the stream? Must have cut it on a beer bottle." "With Rick?" "No, I was running, you know." She hustles me into the house, chanting, "Shit, shit, fucking shit, shit." The whole time she douses peroxide on my hand. It's not bad, just a big, stupid football paper cut." She hates me playing football. She gasps whenever she sees new practice bruises and sweeps a flashlight across my eyes, checking for the bruises in my football head. She doesn't bother to close the cap on the peroxide bottle and goes straight to looping a bandage around my hand, then stops and tells me to do it in the car and starts dragging me out the bathroom, through the living room, until the bandage catches on my American ABBOMBR that I always forget to put away. It yanks me. I yelp, and Cheryl says, "Untangle yourself. Get a shirt. I'll get the car started." When I get outside with the bandages cradled like a football, I have to sprint to the stop sign, where Cheryl is honking and waiting with the passenger door open. "The hell is going on?" I say. She grinds the clutch and just keeps chanting, "Shit, shit, fucking shit, shit." We drive out to Uncle Rick's place. It's at the end of a dirt road. If it was paved and had a fancy sign like they do in the suburbs of Tacoma, it would be called a cul-de-sac. But here is just one big house and 2 trailers, 3 parts of a property that Cheryl and Uncle Rick's mom cut up. She sold 2 of the parts and left the third, a trailer with a bowed roof, for Uncle Rick. We go past the first trailer, Jerry's trailer, and we see Jerry hanging out his window, with the phone to his ear and the cord nearly straight. "He's in the backyard." Around back, at the edge of the overgrown grass, we see Uncle Rick under the big cedar. He's standing on a purple bar stool. He's got a noose around his neck. He's trying to throw the other end of the rope over the large branch hanging low off the tree. "Rick! What are you doing?" Cheryl shouts. Uncle Rick?" I say. Uncle Rick looks at us like he doesn't know us. Then he says, "That lying son of a bitch." His bar stool teeters, and Uncle Rick puts his arms out to keep his balance. Then he cups his hands over his mouth. "Jerry, you son of a bitch. I'll haunt your goddamn house." He has to put his arms out again to keep himself steady on the stool. It's a special stool from Tibucket Bar and Grill. They closed down a year ago, and he broke in a few days later and grabbed his bar stool. I asked him how he knew it was his and not just any stool. "There are just some things you gotta know about yourself, like the grooves your ass wears down on a stool." "Rick, get down from there," Cheryl says. "Sissy, go home," he says. "You're not thinking right. You're drunk, aren't you?" she says. "I said go on." Cheryl looks over at me as if I will somehow know what to do. I don't know what to do. Who hangs himself? Other people off themselves with a gun or pills. Maybe wait in the driver's seat with a car coughing in the garage, if they got a garage. Other people do these things because they're messed up in the head and suicidal. But he's tied a noose with the same rope he used to make me the harness to pull the tire around the trails. The one I left down the ravine by the stream. And it's hanging around his neck and down his shirt like a tie. All I can say is, Unc? You two get out of here, he says. He keeps trying to throw the line over the branch, but every time he tries, the rope misses or slips, and he loses his balance and has to shoot his arms out. Rick, you stop this and come down from that stool, Cheryl says. Unc, I say. I broke the harness and Fontenot scouts us tomorrow, and what are you doing? He stops. He looks at me. His cheeks are as red as his beard, and I'm surprised he's able to stay level on the stool at all. You wouldn't know it by looking at him now, but in old photos, he looked like the brawny paper towel man. Now, coffee and whiskey streak his red beard, and sap and motor oil polka dot his flannel shirt that's pulled tight over his liver belly. He squints. What? The harness broke when I was running, I say. It comes out like a confession. It is a confession of something awesome. I hold up my bandaged hand. The bandage is already trailing out a little like a tail. Fell and cut my hand in the stream. I think I can see his eyes get glassy. He sniffs, then looks up at the branch and tosses the rope up again, and it makes it over. He starts hitching it. I think he means business, but I don't know what else to say. One time, Unc said that you're finally strong enough when you break the lines that pull you back. Aren't you gonna come and watch? I say. Buck, Uncle Rick says. Remember your pant level. Leverage comes low from the core. Hip thrust. Lots of hip thrust. Now go. He looks back at Jerry's trailer.
Jerry! You lying son of a bitch! You come and get them out of here, or I'll haunt your firstborn!
He finishes the hitch. Rick, you're scaring me. Cheryl's voice is calm now, and she's got her hands up, walking slowly in an arc toward him, like when you walk toward a scared horse. Stop this right now. Uncle Rick tugs on the rope, and suddenly, there's the sound of a gunshot or a backfire. And then the branch breaks and falls like a giant green hand, slamming Uncle Rick to the ground. Cheryl screams, I freeze, and Jerry comes running. After a long moment, someone, maybe it's me, calls out to Uncle Rick. We hear him moaning. With all the branches, it's hard to see him. Jerry, Cheryl, and I start breaking the smaller branches off. I can see his red flannel through the branches, heaving, pulsing. I don't think I ever saw him cry before. I can't see his face, but I know it's flushed and scrunched, and he's sobbing.
Fuck me.
Later, the paramedics put Uncle Rick in an ambulance and tell us they're taking him to Wildcat Hospital. We won't get to see him tonight, since this is an attempted suicide and all. When they're gone, Jerry keeps hugging Cheryl, and I walk over to the broken branch. It broke at the trunk. Cedar isn't brittle, isn't supposed to rot like this. Bugs don't like it. But there it is, rotten at the core. Little twisty lines like rivers, where bugs chomp trails underneath what people could see. My hand stings. I feel woozy. I sit in the high grass next to the branch. I want to think how sorry I am that I wasn't here sooner, or even figuring that Uncle Rick would want to off himself. But I'm not feeling sad like I ought to. I feel sick and tingly. One of the paramedics had asked me about the hand, and Cheryl told him it was nothing. We'll take care of it. How will we take care of this? But that isn't even what I'm really thinking about. I keep thinking about the asshole in the members-only jacket, who I haven't seen since I was little enough to disappear in this tall grass, playing hide-and-seek from Uncle Rick and Bobby, by this big cedar that I thought would grow forever, or until someone finally decided it would make good fence posts. That asshole is always wearing sunglasses in the photographs. They're stowed in a dusty shoebox in the back of the closet, under another box of mini helmets I got from vending machines. That asshole is my bio father. Chapter 2. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do after something like that, but the next day is a Monday, and I go to school and to football practice. Today is the last time that Larry Fontenot will come to watch us practice. He scouts for some company that talks to colleges, and is the only one who ever bothers to watch us. His job is to snag anyone good from the small towns and send them away to a bigger, better place. Twice a year he comes, and when he does, we all get jumpy, even Coach Shaw. We can tell he's jumpy because we take a knee in the lumpy grass before the start of practice, and he starts waving his rolled-up playbook around and fires into his Mayan speech, how they used to sacrifice the losers to the heathen gods and had celebratory punting matches with sacrificed heads. That's war, gentlemen, and let me tell you, I've seen war. Guts draped over blasted pickup trucks and God-forsaken sands. Remember, the gridiron has no memory, only performance, only champions, only brotherhood. So get ugly, get mean. That's your only purpose. And if you're not bleeding for your teammates, then your sorry ass will be carried off the field like a corpse. Bleeding. The cut isn't even staining the bandage, but I can feel it sting under my golf glove that I found in a McDonald's bathroom. The glove grips better than any hand, and today, I need all the grip I can get. The only person not nervous is Jimmy Pope. He's a wide receiver who runs a 4.5 40-yard dash. He has a bunch of scholarship offers. The last time Larry Fontenot came by, he grabbed Jimmy by the shoulder after practice and gave him his card, telling him to call about his future. Then Fontenot waddled off to the parking lot. Jimmy's all right, a real humble guy, but it's hard to talk to him, since whenever he talks, I just wait for him to mention scholarships or a star rating or something. He doesn't, but I guess that's why he's one of the guys with clear skin sitting on tailgates, talking to all the girls while I'm walking home alone. Fontenot sits up in the bleachers with a microwave burrito in one hand and a pair of binoculars in the other. No camcorder this time. We practice. Cutbacks around cones, pushing sleds, shuttle runs.
Run like they're out for your nuts!
Coach screams. I'm hustling, showing my speed, cutting my routes as sharp as an X-Acto knife. I'm not the fastest, but I'm an artist. Put me in for punt returns. I sidestep fools for 15 yards or better. Put me in collapsing holes between the tackles. I slide and fall forward for 2 yards instead of a loss. I'm that slippery back, a first and second down back who sets up the manageable third. Perfect for a scholarship and the opportunity to learn and build my football knowledge into a coaching career so far away from Tippecanoe that the only thing left of me here is a photo of me in the trophy box by the gym water fountain. But first, Fontenot needs to see how valuable I am. The scrimmage. Fontenot will see me sliding past tackles like a duck in water because my pad level is low and I got all that leverage from hip thrusts. Everyone says I'll be a doctor or a lawyer, but they haven't seen my grades. Uncle Rick has seen my grades, and he's seen me play. That's why he wants me to play football. That's why I love him. On breaks from pulling stumps for somebody expanding their pasture, Uncle Rick will tell me to take a couple of minutes and run as fast as I can to the far side of the pasture without stepping in any shit. Eyes closed. Focus. Visualize. Imagine Fontenot dropping his burrito, standing up on the bleacher, and clapping because he's never seen a bread and butter back like me before. Pump your legs until the whistle. Fall forward. The ref whistles. It's him again out on the 50-yard line. I open my eyes. On the 50-yard line is only a football tee and a cone. Up in the bleachers, Fontenot is looking at the far end zone, where the girls' cross-country team warms up and the cheerleaders jump. Usually before practice, I try to catch a glimpse of Hot Holly, maybe even wave if I feel brave, but the only cheerleaders that ever see me are the gymnast dudes and Chantel, who flips me the bird. She's one of 3 Asians at our school. Chantel is adopted to a family that's got a boat and a big spread along the water. And she's Korean, and for once she sees me and doesn't flip me the bird. It's been like that all day. People acting different. At morning weightlifting, guys told me good job after I pumped 300 on the squat rack, instead of just grunting or hawking a loogie on the floor. In chem, Mrs. Slaughter didn't give me a pink slip after seeing my doodle. In the chem book, of C carbon as a curled dick and the 2 oxygens as its balls. In English, Miss Griffin, who we call fake English because she speaks with a fake English accent, and is our 1-year temp from the Teach the Rural Poor program from Portland, didn't ask me to show her my haiku and skipped over me like I got the flu. It's me and Chantel, the only 2 Asians, and fake English doesn't ask me to share my awesome football haiku. Sacked quarterback in the end zone, cries like a daisy, for safety. After class, Chantel bumps into me and stuffs something in the pocket of my Letterman jacket. What's that about? I say. She doesn't even slow down, just shoots up the stairs and disappears in the flow of the hallway. It's a note, folded up like an envelope, but with a tongue and a little cartoon hand flipping me the bird. So, I guess she already flipped me off once today. Everyone else is acting different because they already heard about Uncle Rick, and that's just noise for me to stuff in my pockets until later. The first play of scrimmage, Emmett, our quarterback, throws the ball down the middle into traffic. The ball wobbles. Suddenly, Jimmy swoops in and nabs it one-handed. Fontenot stands, nods. The next play, I get the ball and hand it off to Jimmy on a reverse. He bolts down the sideline for a touchdown while 2 linebackers and a defensive end plow me into the turf and pop my helmet off. Fontenot golf claps. It goes like this for a while until Coach pulls Jimmy out and I finally get my chance. I line up behind Emmett. I hate Emmett. He'll eat a sack rather than toss the rock to me for a check down. The ball snaps and Emmett turns, hands me the ball, and there's no hole where there's supposed to be a hole. I back up and already some guys are barreling down on me, and I spin out to the right and hurdle legs and arms, trail behind a tackle, and fall forward for a few yards in the mess. Whistle blows. No high fives, no good jobs, but that doesn't matter. These guys don't get that positive yards off a broken play are gold for a coach. They don't know that because they don't study the game. They didn't learn the playbook the day they got it. They don't realize that the left guard didn't pull quickly enough, and that's why there wasn't a gap for me to run through. And that's because he's an idiot and probably forgot the play from the huddle to the line. This is what I do. I make something out of nothing. I see the yards of the offensive series, the whole series, not just a single play of X's and O's. I move the rock forward. That's the mark of an excellent 2-down, bread and butter back, a Division I back, a 3-down D3 back, a thinking running back perfect for schools like Yale that appreciate nuance and excellence beyond the GPA. Up in the bleachers, Fontenot is gone. After practice, I see Jimmy talking to Fontenot in the parking lot by a brand new green Corvette. I wait for them to finish up, crackle the pebbles under my shoe into the sidewalk, and tap my glossy Barry Sanders folder against my leg to keep me calm. You're not good enough, I think. You didn't train hard enough. You broke the harness that Uncle Rick made for you and left it in the tire by the stream. Think about the way Uncle Rick teetered on the stool. Think how you had nothing good to say, and how his face was lost and burnt and just begging for something or someone to look back at him with a reason to get down from the bar stool. A couple of old linemen, Darren and Zach, walk past me and gaze at Fontenot and Jimmy. You don't think he's giving Jimmy the vet, do you? Darren asks. Zach shakes his giant head. These guys didn't block for me, didn't open up any holes. Fontenot is supposed to be talking to me. He's supposed to be thumbing through my papers, which say my stats, which say I passed my physicals, and which say I passed my classes with a solid 2.57 GPA. Hey, I say to them, you guys had to forget how to open a hole today, didn't you? Screw you, Buck, Darren says. You just don't know how to read a block, man. Yeah, man, Zach says. Maybe you can't see that well. So I can't see well, huh? I know this. I've known this since the first time a kid in the Superdollar jumped out from behind an aisle with his eyelids pulled to the sides to make little slits while screaming Karate Kid. The hell is that supposed to mean? I say. Exactly what I said, Zach says. It's like you weren't looking or something, you know? My fist is clenched, and I'm ready. Go on. I know you want to say it. Say what? Say it. Zach drops his gym bag and I drop mine. Our eyes get wide and still and direct. Darren raises his giant taped hands between us. Yo, Darren says. Yo, Buck, if you want to be pissed, go talk to Fontenot. It's not us, man. He picks up Zach's gym bag and hands it to him. Come on, man. By the glittering Corvette, Jimmy and Fontenot are still talking, and Jimmy is nodding in that way that says things are only going to get better. Zach and Darren lumber off toward microwave Salisbury steaks, a towny future of grub-like children they'd lied to about the time they won 56-0. Jobs they'll never like if they're lucky, speed teeth and drunk tanks if they're not. That is the Tippecanoe way. Everyone looking out their living room windows and seeing all the paint fading on their walls and the moss eating their lawns, and they wheeze. Oh well. Before lumbering off to the kitchen to zap some stars and flags fish sticks during the commercial break, I walk over to the Corvette as Fontenot is getting in. He's telling Jimmy to get his transcripts in on time. I'm going to holler and break things. I'm going to shove my Barry Sanders folder filled with 3 seasons of bread and butter running back stats in his face. But before I can say anything, Fontenot says, Kid, if I wanted to talk to you, we would have talked. He closes the door and starts the car. Dumb. Frozen. I just stand there as a Corvette rumbles out of the parking lot. Bucky? Jimmy says. Jimmy's next to me, and I feel like the ground is splitting apart. You all right, brother? Larry's an asshole. Don't listen to him. Jimmy calls him Larry. I don't look at Jimmy. He would keep trying to make me feel better. I'm sure of it. He's that kind of guy. A good guy from a good family, with a good future and a nice house with a gate and a garage, and a whole lot of people who like talking to him and being around him. What happened to your hand, brother? I want to stomp him into the pavement, take a helmet to his kneecap. Instead, I walk away and don't look back. Jimmy just keeps saying, Bucky? Bucky? Brother? Chapter 3. I cut through the woods. The crows aren't squawking, and I see a raccoon trotting away with a Cheetos bag in its mouth. At the fork where the running trails meet, the dirt path is smooth like a vacuum cleaner over carpet. That's me and my tire, moving all these dog fir needles every morning along the crest between ravines. For what? Then I'm shouting. No words, just an ah-hee that drops to a grunt when I set my Barry Sanders folder on a pillow of fur duff. Then I sledgehammer my bag into the path and huck my water bottle. It just bounces off one of the cedars and lands back at my feet. Can't even toss a water bottle. So I sit there in my swept dirt. From up here, you only see sappy trunks and flaky bark and bent madronas all so brown that you'd swear that they heat up red at night. Everything smells fresh. When the trees aren't creaking in the breeze, you can hear the stream glug. But now, no glug and no breeze. Maybe my tire got into the stream. I should go down there and at least get the harness. My eyes are burning, but running backs don't cry. I smell dust in the air. It's going to rain. That's what this is. All the trees are giving me this closed-in feeling, the same feeling I get when our power dies and all the other porch lights and TVs in the neighborhood are still going. I need to go home. I need to be with my VHS of NFL Films Presents Born to Run. The moment I come out of the trail at Sunny Meadow, I hear yelling. Not the kind of yelling that happens over not doing dishes, but the kind of yelling that ends with Deputy Brown from the Sheriff's Department peeling into our yard with the flashes going. Bobby and Cheryl are yelling at each other on the porch. Cheryl waves a metal spatula, and Bobby backs away, his McDonald's uniform dusted in brownie mix. Apparently, Cheryl told Bobby to drive over to check on Uncle Rick, and he said no. She had been baking. Cheryl never bakes. Bobby has the night shift at the McDonald's in Bremerton and needs to get going soon. But now, he'll be late if one of the neighbors calls the sheriff again.
He's your fucking uncle,
Cheryl shouts. I've got work, says Bobby. What's more important, your sick uncle or your goddamn job, says Cheryl. You've got a car. Go and see him. I'll see him when I'm free, Bobby says. Free? When you're free?
He tried to kill himself. You think he'll be there when you're...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?